am starting this semi-rant by stating I, Chris of ChrisCrossMedia, love the Super Mario series. I've played all the console games and some of the RPGs as well, including the Paper Mario titles, sport games, and the party games too. I'm extremely excited to eventually own Super Mario Odyssey. I even waited in a line for hours at E3 to play 5 minutes of it. So I don't want to hear from you lovely people that I'm not a fan and that I hate the series, because in fact I love it. But what I'm about to state in this video is something that has been eating away at me for so long. Maybe you too feel the same way. And sure, maybe I'm nitpicking, but this is YouTube. Everyone has an opinion, so here's mine.
No more complaining, no more Mr. Kimble have to go to the bathroom, nothing.
With that out of the way, you already know the title, so I'm done beating around this imaginary bush. They should make Bowser scary again, and what do I mean by they? I mean all the powers that be at Nintendo. If you've been a fan of the series, you know that certain decay of the scary that Bowser gives off. Now, it's not so much his physical appearance, that's roughly stayed the same, although I'll touch on that in a bit, but it's who the character is. Now, if you look at film, literature, and video games, the key to a great good versus evil story is to make the villain memorable. Someone or something iconic that not only is a great foil to the hero, but is also someone you love to hate. Disney has this formula patented. They have such a great method of creating villains that are not only evil, but they are just as iconic as the main stars of the film.
Precisely.
You understand their disgusting or selfish motives, and sometimes you can even see where they're coming from, but it's from their demented state and falling of grace that causes you to root for the heroes instead. And I think it can be broken up into 3 different categories. Number 1 being motive, number 2 being the appearance, and number 3 being personality and characterization. So with this in mind, let's break down Bowser from his 1985 debut in the original Super Mario Bros. Bowser's motives are pretty plain and simple, and that is to invade and conquer the Mushroom Kingdom while also kidnapping Princess Peach. In the original game, there was this underlying subplot on how Bowser turned all the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom into inanimate objects like rocks and bricks, and he kidnapped the princess because she's the only one that has the power to reverse this. Now, mind you, Bowser's motives have stayed pretty consistent throughout the entire series. Of course, to some degree, it would seem it was watered down as time went on. As in many early games, Bowser would just kidnap the princess because he could, but he does so because he's evil. And in later entries, there are some twists and turns, like how in Super Mario Sunshine, he lies to his son Bowser Jr. and tells him that Princess Peach is actually his mother, and that it was Mario kidnapping her this entire time. For the most part, I don't have any issue with Bowser's motives. It's one-dimensional, sure, but I'm not playing Mario because of the story. I'm playing because I enjoy these characters and the design of the worlds, and of course the amazing gameplay. I do have issue with the second category, and that's appearance. Now, there's some overlappings between appearance and characterization, but I'll do my best not to mix the two. Bowser was created from the mind of Shigeru Miyamoto as the main villain for the Super Mario Bros. Series. His original inspiration was from the anime called Alakazam the Great, which featured a villain known as the Ox Demon King. This character was the groundwork for his designs, with later tweaks and alterations to give him more of a turtle-like Koopa look. As many know, Bowser is also known as King Koopa, which loosely translates to the Great Demon King, which is extremely fitting. I remember being a kid so scared to walk down the hallway in Super Mario 64. Why? Because the portrait of Peach transforming into the demonic smile of Bowser always terrified me. While his words were not many, his appearance commanded this immense strength. He was built up as this powerful creature that you just had to defeat because he was the essence of evil. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but whoever in their mind thought this was a good idea?
Mamma mia!
Or this? Or even this? Granted, some of these are not in-game, but this is still your main villain. The mascot of your company fights this evil character, and they're just hanging out, looking ready to go get some pumpkin spice lattes and Snapchat all of their friends. Look, I have no problem if Nintendo decided to make a giant cat villain for the Mario series, because that can be done. It can be its own thing. Or if they wanted to make a hipster villain, by all means, you could probably make that happen too. But don't slap it on your already existing characters and just hope that everyone accepts it. The main issue I have with this is that it doesn't fit the character, or at the very least, it doesn't fit the character that made him popular in the first place. If Bowser was used like this in the 80s, as this cookie cutter bad guy like he is now, I can guarantee he wouldn't be as iconic as he is today. I feel as though Nintendo is relying on the already existing popularity of these characters, their look, their feel and design, and just saying, hey, People eat it up because it's Bowser, this is Mario, we don't have to try too hard anymore. But that doesn't grow the character, that's taking several steps back. It's like the identity crisis that Mickey Mouse went through in the 80s and 90s. Mickey Mouse used to be this rascal, this mischievous guy, yet he was a hero when he needed to be. But it got to a point where he was a shell, pun intended, of his former self. He was just a corporate, generic, trademark intellectual property. And he was only popular because of his past, not his present. Thank God Disney woke up and said, enough is enough. And this is what I'm fearing is happening here to some of these Nintendo characters, namely Bowser. I don't want to see Darth Vader dancing around because people recognize him. Hey, it's Star Wars, copyright, trademarked, patent pending. I want to see Bowser, the definition of evil. Use him when needed. And if you want to have other kinds of personalities reflected in your game, then create new villains. Give us a variety. We don't always need Bowser to be the main baddie. And yes, I know the RPGs have done a decent job doing this, and I applaud the teams working on those, but give us some kind of variety for the main series. Another example is Ganon from The Legend of Zelda. He's very consistently remained the same. Now, if you took the same approach as done in the Mario series, just picture playing Skyward Sword and Ganon is running around acting like Girahim. It just doesn't fit the character, and thus they created an entirely new villain who is iconic in his own right. Alright, and lastly, I'm just gonna wrap this one up because I'm dying here. The third category is personality and characterization. Now, like I said, this overlaps with the previous one, but let's talk about Bowser being a dad for a second. So we get introduced to the Koopalings in Mario Bros. 3, but aside from them being Bowser's children, there wasn't much else added to it. And even then, they were later altered, and then they were just demoted to basically being his minions. But then we're introduced to Bowser Jr. in Super Mario Sunshine, and while I don't mind Bowser Jr. at all, I do mind what he does to Bowser, because with this simple change in his character, we've humanized him in the wrong direction. And in so many cases, I feel bad for Bowser. He's a caring father. Just look at him in the game, or in this parental control segment they made for the Nintendo Switch. He cares for his son. He's a good dad. It's borderline cute. And now all of a sudden, I feel bad for Bowser. Maybe Mario's the bad guy. Maybe Peach should lock her door at night. Maybe he's doing what he needs to do to keep his family afloat. It's messed up, but I can see his heart's in the right place. Do you see, Nintendo? This is what happens when you take this and do this. You've taken Han Solo and made him dance to riding solo. I don't think the great Demon King would want to be Meowser. And what's painful is that you were on track with the Galaxy series, but then something happened. I don't know what. Well, here's hoping something changes for Super Mario Odyssey. The game does look gorgeous, it plays gorgeous, it's an homage to Super Mario 64, one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm not holding my breath for Bowser. I mean, I'm hoping there's some very devilish twist at the end that takes everyone by surprise. Give us Giga Bowser, why not? You know, put that in the series. But as they know, the fans, myself including, will come flocking to anything and everything Mario, so why make any changes? Thank you for watching my rant for far too long about Bowser, but hey, someone had to, and I appreciate you checking out this video and the channel. Now, am I crazy? Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments or on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, whatever the heck these kids are doing these days, and let us know if there's anything you think they should make. With that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Your views are always appreciated. I love you guys so much. I'm gonna play some Super Mario 64 and relive the good days. I'll see you all later. My name is Chris, and you've just been ChrisCrossed. Take care, guys. There.